What's going on, Cancer? I feel like I was just talking to you. And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Cancer, I never mind talking with you. I can talk with you all day, Cancer. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling chatty today, Cancer. And you'll see why in a minute. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes and shares. Your support really is just incredible, Cancer. And it keeps us going. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, wherever, Cancer, I love it. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads. You know who also loves it? Rhonda here, the good old moon. Well, don't think I brought the moon down from the sky, Cancer. I know I'm incredible, but I'll talk about the moon up there. I'll talk about what sign, and I guess Rhonda syncs up with her. What sign they're in, what phase they're in, and when they're going void, of course, just all those lunar shenanigans. There's going to be plenty of them, Cancer. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, never force reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Yeah, Cancer, energy's been high. I'm really just kind of riding it out here. We don't ask questions when the energy's up. And Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely, Cancer. I feel like I've been in a ritual here. Like I got the things are just lining up here. Just great energies all around, Cancer. And Cancer, happy Jupiter Day. This is a day of expansion. Cancer, this is a great day because now that Mars-Saturn conjunction is in the waning end, now things are going to start freeing up a little bit more. I feel like things are going to feel like they can start moving. So this is a great time, I feel, when we were talking about that. It's on Astro Hub. I've included a link down in the description box, a website to get there to check them out and all the information that they have. But they do this thing, it's treasure mapping. They call it treasure mapping, the person who talks about this. I actually like that too. It's basically a vision board there, Cancer. And this is a time between now and the full moon. This is a great energy to be intentional with. Because, while we're in this energy of Gemini, let's exchange a little information there, Cancer. Because when you think about how we start off the astrology, or how we start off the calendar new year, that's in the middle of Capricorn season. And that's an interesting, we're on the waning end of the year. Things are starting to close out. We're in the time of introspection. And in the calendar's like, yo, who are you? And you're just like, whoa, can I hibernate? Can I take a minute? And the Aries new moon is when, after the sun enters into Aries, we're in that new fresh spring energy. That's when the manifestation is extra potent because it's Aries energy. Aries is their cardinal fire. They're the primordial flame, even, Cancer. It's so this is a time between now and the new moon, and this is why working with the lunar cycles can be so powerful there, Cancer. These letting the new moon be your time for planting seeds, and then the first quarter as we wax and things increase, that first quarter, okay, we're seeing a little bit of challenges here. I might need to arrange some things. Oh, maybe I need to, this circumstance has changed, let's remove that. And then before we get to the full moon, this energy the moon's building up, this is the time to be setting intentions, to be guiding the stuff manifest. So this is a time to, and do this however you want to, Cancer, however it resonates with you. If it's with words, if it's on the back of a sheet of paper, if this is on, pictures. But I feel some things to consider if we're doing sentences, and I liked how they talked about this. If they're doing sentences, there's a whole podcast with it as well. I will include the podcast link for that as well down in the description box as well there, Cancer. But talking in the present tense, so I am successful. I'm enjoying a loving relationship. Even if it doesn't feel true in that moment, we're walking in that energy as we're there. and having your picture in it, having it in the center and your name on it, and letting that be, being the you're the energy, the one that's receiving all of this energy there, Cancer. However you need to work this out, be as organized or as messy as you want to be with it. I actually bought some stuff, and I'll post a picture of it, what mine looks like afterwards, and actually you can see what I'm doing with my space here, Cancer. I'm going to be actually way more, I had a lot of stuff that I'm getting ready to step up here and do, Cancer, so it's really exciting. And this is what happens when you, I'm already feeling this stuff. It's cool, but Cancer, we got so expansive. And so Jupiter days are about sharing information, Cancer, for sharing little tidbits like this stuff here, like when to really set intentions, or really set powerful intentions. And this can be, I got so much stuff I want to share with you, Cancer. And Jupiter Day is a time of expansion as well, too. I feel like it can be a time where you can think about how you've grown. This could be a time for travel, or if not actually doing the traveling, maybe planning for travel. This is a time, I feel like, to bask in your abundance. Look around, take in your environment and see the abundance around you, too. I feel like that could be a very useful way of working with this Jupiter energy as well, considering that Big Papa's getting ready to be in a big conjunction here with Uranus here soon. That's exciting. But what else is exciting, Cancer? If you can't tell, I'm still feeling so chatty today, is that the moon is in a waxing crescent in Gemini, Cancer. And this is why this is another particularly special one, because this is my lunar return day. We get one every month, Cancer. And so it's like you're getting little birthdays, emotional birthdays every month. The moon is celebrating you, where the sun only wants to celebrate us once a year. The sun. But this is an energy where if you learn to, because it's important to know what's going on collectively as well, but it's nice too to tune in personally so that you can keep track of how you may be showing up collectively, or how the collective may be coming at you. It depends on what's going on with your chart. And this is something too, Cancer, if you're curious about how these energies work with your charts more specifically, book a reading with me. I have information down in the description box with all those links there for you. I have them also on Instagram, and I'm working on getting them on my Facebook as well. I think I'm going to start a LinkedIn too, Cancer. I feel like, why not? Let's just really just kind of go big. But there's, where was I at? But it's really cool when you chart these energies out and can see what is, for example, the lunar returns. They're great for a month. And considering that my sun sign's in Cancer, that's one I really want to keep an eye on. If you got Cancer in your big free, but I'd even argue if you got Cancer anywhere in your personal planets, anywhere from, your sun, moon, rising, or ascendant placement, Mercury, Venus, and Mars placement, I would check, because those are energies are active in your everyday. So that's something to keep, I would say, to keep in mind of where the moon's at if you have Cancer placements there. But knowing where you're going to be at emotionally, how things are going to be at, can be really important. This past month for me was kind of emotional. That the moon was in the 8th house for me, which is not where my natal moon, and that's the thing, the sign will stay the same, Cancer. That's the nice thing about it. The energy will be the same. So whether you're moon in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius, moon in Capricorn, it's all going to stay, the sign will stay the same. It's just the house placement that's different. And so your moon is in a new environment, and sometimes it'll land, when the moon's in the 10th house, I know that, I live that all the time. But when the moon's in 8th house, that's new territory. That's in how that's going to manifest, just depending on what's going on. Next cycle, it's actually, oh my goodness, even I'm just kind of having the whole experience is going to be reversed. My moon's going to be in the 2nd house, opposite sign of the 8th house, and literally the chart flips over. I'm not even kidding. I have so much stuff in the 1st house. It's going to be a big time of self. So, and I got some cool ideas that I'm going to be cooking up too, that I'm actually putting into, we're manifesting it. So, but Cancer, the moon's in Gemini, as you see. And Gemini energy is more than just about, yes, this is a time for communication and studying, sharing knowledge, things along those lines. But Gemini energy on even a broader scale, Cancer, is the energy of perception. This is how Gemini energy is seeing things even it gets labeled as the thinking sign, and Gemini energy is very intelligent. It can gather a lot of information very quickly. Thank you, yourself. But the caveat with that, or excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's more about how you're observing things and how you're seeing, and I feel like not just in your immediate environment, but even more immediate than what's going on around you, what's going on inside of you. Because now we're talking about the moon, we're talking about your feelings. And the moon in Gemini can be a tricky one, because it can be where I have Gemini at the 0 degrees. My moon sign is at 0 degrees and 15 minutes of Gemini, so freshly into Gemini. And so that energy is very lively. So as far as like this, and as you can see, and I'm focusing, but I do notice where I can go off. And that's where you want to be mindful of your focus, Cancer. And I feel like this is a time to approach the energies kind of light. When emotion, just kind of observe things. Like if a thought comes up, with them, I feel like that's one thing. If you have troubles at your stick, or if you find yourself locked onto something, though, Cancer, I feel that's a time where it's a perk of the air signs that they're not as emotional as water energy. This does give you a chance to, and it's easier said. It doesn't make the emotion any easier to deal with, but it allows you a chance to, the air energy gives you a moment to detach and just observe. Okay, this is what I'm feeling. How is that translating externally? What is actually reality? And then it just allows you to, as the emotions come up during these next couple of days, this can be a time to talk about any feelings that come up for you. This is not one where Gemini, I personally, I won't speak for all Gemini moons, but when it comes to my feelings, I have to talk about them. I either have to talk about them, it benefits from writing about them. Journaling has been another great one for me, but there needs to be some sort of communication. If it stays in here, it becomes a hot mess, and then it gets jumbled with the thoughts, and then it's hard to tell what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and that's the shadow of Gemini, is that it can just be all over the place and aimless, and just learning stuff just taking in information. And this is something too, Cancer, I do feel like making sure to just, with our phones and things like that, just taking time to purge. Again, we take in so much information, we need to get that out. Again, whether that's maybe going outside talking with a tree, or however that looks, Cancer. But I don't want you getting looks. But this is something where I do feel you need to get out and give the energies a break, because Gemini is under the guardianship of Mercury, who is in retrograde right now. And so Mercury is in the energy of reflection. So this is a time, I feel, to take advantage of that. And when the moon's in Virgo as well, to be thinking about that. She may be out before the moon's in Virgo. I'll have to look at that. No, she won't be. No, they'll still be retrograde. So yeah, when the moon's in Virgo too, this is a time of where the mind is more active, but it would benefit to have that space, Cancer. So just something to think about with this energy. But yes, I'm trying not to talk your head off here, Cancer. But last couple of things, these readings that I do, and before I talk at you some more, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so take these or apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then I got that description box loaded up with readers that I enjoy, astrologers, well, singular, well, no, plural now, astrologers, podcasts, resources, all types of things that Cancer for you to avail yourself of, websites, like all those types of goodies. So definitely check that stuff out there, Cancer. Hopefully it can be very useful for you. But let's get into your general energy of the day, Cancer, which I like this. This is you got the Pine Spirit here, which is a card of purification. And when I'm thinking about purification, Cancer, I got my sage stick over here, and I'm just thinking about cleansing the energies. And I feel like this purification is allowing yourself a bit of detox, in a sense. Where have we been overly stimulated? Because that's Gemini energy can absorb, take it from me, can take in a lot. And just like it can go and go and go and go and go, and that's a lot of energy to be channeling, and that can drain you out. It frazzles your nerves. It can be there are some times where, and I've gotten way better about this, but I remember when I really especially got into astrology, the astrology is everything for my Gemini moon. My moon feels great because I can just process, and I know that there is infinite information, and I'm like, oh yeah, bet. But I remember when I first started, I would feel frazzled afterwards. It was almost like my adrenaline was just like, it was like a strange vibrating feeling. And I feel this purification is just making sure to see where we're just overloaded and just kind of cleanse the energies a little bit, give that energy a break, getting outside, just between like how often we look at computer screens, TV screens, cell phone screens, all of that, billboard screens. And even too, I'm even thinking about when we're talking about Gemini energy, that is your immediate environment. This could be where maybe you have that conversation that's been kind of lingering for a while that you've been wanting to get off your chest. Because Gemini is light. We can talk about things and just move on. It don't got to be that serious. We can get us, and that's but I do feel like this can be something where we can kind of, this purification is just kind of clearing the air, I feel like, as well. Maybe there's some things that we've been needing to get off our chest, maybe some changes that we're getting ready to make, whether this is talking with someone or maybe even just admitting to yourself that maybe you are talking with that tree, meditating underneath you and your higher self, or talking about what things do we need to purify for these changes that are happening. Because that's something and I'm not sure if I touched on that too, Cancer. With Gemini energy being so perceptive, I do feel like, I think I did talk about this, observing the changes that are happening within you, but seeing where there are blockages that are happening with you as well. This is, again, Gemini energy is a nice way to be curious. This is an energy to be asking yourself questions, and maybe not necessarily expecting answers, but just observing what comes up. If you feel something cool, if you don't, move on. Gemini is not really kind of hung up on that, and I feel like that's where it kind of can get a bad rep, where it's like Gemini could be this, but it's more so that when I'll tell you what I really love. What I love about astrology too is like, and this is, just like for me personally, it's like I learn something new all the time, and that's exciting. That's what keeps Gemini energy in one spot. That's how you keep Gemini energy grounded. Keep it excited. Keep it curious. And that's where I feel the energies are trying to get us to, Cancer. Get us thinking a bit differently, asking those questions instead of, I remember talking with someone not too long ago, and they were just like, what... I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, are you not going to ask? And I mean, like, are we just going to leave it as an I don't know, or are we going to ask questions afterwards? And I'm not saying it like it's going to be really easy, the answers that come up, but it's just like, how long do we want to stay in the dark on something? Gemini wants to learn it all. Gemini wants to experience it all. It's not just, it's not just about just thinking about, but let's get, thank you, yourself. Let's get into this energy here. All right, Cancer, they're sad. So Cancer, You have all this fire. So you have the art card here, which is the temperance card. I like that. Sagittarius here. You have the lust card, Leo. The Seven of Cups, the Six of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Prince of Cups. And let's talk about the Four of Swords. Because Cancer is purification. The Four of Swords is a card of rest, a card of. I like that this talks about this in this deck. The why am I blanking? Come to me. The Thoth deck. They have these little phrases at the bottom, and it has truce here. And I feel that there are some things here, Cancer, that may, as changes are coming up inside you, as you're noticing things evolving, maybe you're noticing the people around that you're talking with are changing, however this may be manifesting for you. I feel like there's truce card is making peace with these changes here. It's understanding that, the art card is this integration of opposites. You see here, everything is it's even interesting too in the Lovers card, the alchemical marriage in this deck, and the art card is the honeymoon. The lion, or the, what is this, Leo, is and this is represented by Leo and Scorpio. Leo over here is white, where he was red in the Lovers, and same with the eagle or the phoenix. That was white in the Lovers. And there's this something switching here, and I feel like that there's this new energy that's coming in, Cancer, with this purification, this strength here that's coming with this lust card. I feel like this could be you. I'd like to would think it as with how this cycle is. I feel like such one, Cancer. I remember feeling really pumped up when was it? It was when these moons in Aries. I think it was the last full moon in Aries. I want to say I was really pumped up then too, but something about this Aries energy has been very, just very, very active. Something is a fire again. That primordial fire is lit, and I feel that this is a time to tap into new strengths, to trust in strengths that you never thought you could have before. The Six of Swords, we're leaving some things in the past. Whatever this is, this could be old behaviors, because the Seven of Cups, this is my prelude to a devil moment here. This is actually where this deck actually got me. Because, look, this card is swampy. This thing is, there's some things that are keeping us stagnant, and we're needing to purify it. We're observing the blocks. But I do feel that there's something here, Cancer. This may be something that you've already noticed, or maybe there's just something we're noticing in others, but I do feel like this is a time of not judging. Gemini energy, I was reading this book, I remember, by Stephen Forrest, and I included that book down there, The Inner Sky. He does a very, very poetic way of talking about the different zodiac signs. I highly recommend it. But they talk about Gemini energy at their highest vibration. It has no judgments. It just accepts the chaos that is, we're very similar kind of like to Libra in a way. But it just accepts that just the way things are. That is what it is. And sure, we can have, it's not that we can't have questions or thoughts about it. Gemini absolutely has opinions, believe me. But I do feel that this is just a time to just see what's needing to be worked on, and maybe making a list of what's needing to be tackled. Maybe when we get into the moon in Cancer, when we're sitting a bit deeper, being a bit more introspective here. Because I love this Prince of Cups. It's like he's sitting on the waters here. He's in this kind of meditative state. This is Scorpio energy for me. And Scorpio energy goes to the depths. They really, when we're going to observe something, this might even be something, Cancer, maybe you come back to when the moon's in Scorpio. But, something I want to mention too, Cancer, there may be something that comes up, because emotions are very, very tricky things, as I'm sure you've known. I feel Gemini energy is the reminder too that sometimes emotions come and emotions go, and this can be very deep emotions that can come up, and then all of a sudden we're just at peace with them. And then like a strength has been unlocked because it's just like, oh, a cycle can be that quick. Because I remember observing when the moon was, I think I may have talked about this in the last lunar cycle, the moon was in Cancer, and I just was in this real deep place. I didn't understand it, and so I just kind of sat with, I was sitting on this bus, and I was just kind of we had to sort of on its way to this park, and yeah, it was very interesting. But literally, I felt it, and then it was gone. I could literally feel it dissipating out of my body. It was like I was really heavy in myself, and then it was light. And then I was just like, did the moon enter into Leo? And I looked, and the moon had entered into Leo. So, this is something too, I feel, Cancer, just with that Prince of Cups, there may be some things with Gemini that are, again, that could be even confusing that may come up here. But, actually, yeah, let's talk about that next, Cancer, because hold on, I got some, thanks for coming out, girl. Gemini is not just about, not a precautionary tale. Thank you, higher self. Oh, how I love when higher self does it. See these little messages here? We're just talking about. So here's Gemini. I love her singing it with the energies. Here's Gemini, the lovers. You have the Six of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the Six of Cups, the Seven of Swords, and then the Princess of Disc here. Now the Princess of Disc. Gemini is one, too, of ideas. Because the energy can process so much, it can learn so fast. This is a time where I feel whatever this is that you've been wanting to cook up, this is a time to do research on it, to discover what nuggets lie ahead. I feel like, or how this growth process is going to be working. Like, for example, let's say or Princess of Disc, she's becoming a queen, she's pregnant, she's about to get married. And I feel like the princess, maybe she's becoming a parent, for example. And it's thinking about, okay, I got all this to work up to. Okay, I'm probably going to need a crib. Probably going to need a stroller, because we got to get the babies, got to get air, food, and then diapers. Do I go cloth? Am I homeschool? Where it's getting the details. I feel like of that now, starting to write this stuff down, starting to think about some resources to find. I feel because the Lover's card is a choice, Cancer, and the choices, I feel, what this is saying here is that we have a choice when it comes to working with your energies and what resonates with you. And I just don't mean in just like tarot astrology, doing what they say. When something inside you is nudging you to, when your intuition, your instincts, whatever you call it, your gut gives you a signal, and it's at odds with what you're wanting to do, what you feel is right, or what you may feel is safe even. I feel that this energy is realizing that you do have a choice about how you want to tackle the stuff, and not to be, I feel like, overwhelmed by it, because Gemini energy can get overwhelmed with the options of it. But do know that I feel like it's like allowing your mind to be flexible with this. This is not a time, I feel like, because Gemini can't overthink, believe me. It can overthink, but this is a time, I feel, to kind of just follow the ideas a little bit. Go down the rabbit hole, but keep it focused. It's very interesting what I feel like is kind of coming through here. But there's something here, too, I feel, with the Six of Cups. Maybe there were some past choices that we may have made that didn't feel so abundant, possibly, that maybe left you feeling like the Princess of Disc here. Maybe we feel like we're kind of standing in a barren forest, possibly, here. And Six of Wands, maybe we're not feeling as victorious or feeling as just on top of the world as we could. And I feel that if you're in this thinking about failures and things along those lines, I like that the Seven of Swords here talks about futility, because it is futile thinking about the past is done when we're thinking about the Six of Cups. But we can take the knowledge from the past and turn it into new tools, because that's what I like about I feel like the Seven of Swords can be a card of resources. And speaking of an air moon, this is the moon in Aquarius. And I feel like it's like seeing, because there's in the Rider White deck, this figure has these swords that they're taking away from the army because they don't want to fight. They want to find an art. They want to purify this violence, find a different way to go about things. And so this is like, we got to come across I feel like this it's interesting. It's like coming across things a bit differently. You know, like taking the past and creating a different future for yourself in a sense, and being bold with it. Queen of Wands, being because you do got a lot of heat here, Cancer, with Leo and Sag being here, and a lot of energy even with Gemini. Gemini energy is very good. But to have such a that powerful, you know, processing mind takes a lot of energy. So yeah, very interesting here, Cancer. But I feel like the vision is coming together with this energy, because even the Seven of Cups is an energy of options. But I feel like with this, how it's in this kind of swampy state, it's like I feel like try not to let the options overwhelm or keep you stagnant, I guess. Kind of more so follow what you're feeling, because even thinking about that too, that's fascinating. That's Venus in Scorpio, so this is being very receptive to your needs, to your emotions, to what your wants. So very interesting. Oh, very interesting, Cancer. So I love this, Cancer. Last little bit here. So here's Mercury, the Magus card, and the Magician. And then you have Queen of... Oh, interesting. These two... Oh, hubby and wifey. You got the Queen of Disc, the Knight of Disc, the Death card, Scorpio, and then the Devil card here, Capricorn. And let's switch back over here, Cancer. Because, you know, with this energy, Cancer, I feel that as this purification process, because that's what I loved how there's a reader, Jamie. She has a couple of tarot channels, and she's a fantastic reader. Her title for the solar eclipse was Cleansed by Fire, and I feel like that's very appropriate with this Knight of Wands. That's what this lunar cycle feels like. A cleansing through fire, but not one that's meant to burn us. One that's meant to... This is the fire of our transcendent. We were transcending yesterday, Cancer, but this is that Phoenix rising energy, Scorpio. Absolutely, all the way. And we were talking about that with Sagittarius. There's Scorpio and Leo here. I love that. And I love when you even think about that dynamic. Talking about opposing energies, Scorpio and Leo are at odds. They're fixed signs. There's tension there. Scorpio is very realistic, very kind of, I don't want to say morbid, but, you know, there's this, that's almost like a living like there's no tomorrow, but not in like a YOLO sense. And then, because Leo can do the exact same thing, believe me. But it's more so like living today because it's today, that's life, you know, like it's, but both are passionate, they're both going towards the same thing, but they're going at it different ways. And what I'm getting at with this, Cancer, is that this purification that's going on here is going to look very differently for everyone. Different strengths are getting ready to come here. Different things that we need to devil here. Because we were talking about the prelude to the devil, but now the devil's here singing. This is just to look at, and with compassion, Cancer, what things may be getting in the way of your process, what stuff we need to cleanse, purify, that's getting in the way of working with this big field here that the Queen of Disc is getting ready to cook up something. She's got big plans with this now that it's almost like her field, I got a different scenario for her each time. It's like her field has been, she's almost like she set it on fire. She's just like, you know what? It's not working. None of this is working. And I love that. And last thing, Cancer, a lot of imagery going on here. With the Lust card. The Lust card or the Strength card is considered the strongest major arcana, which you can guess by the title. But the Lust card in this deck is, this is a universe. This is the tree of life, but it's the word for them is escaping me at the moment. It's because I keep thinking Merkaba, and it's not Merkaba, but those little, however the tree of life is connected with, hang with me, look up the tree of life there, Cancer. The energies are scattered right now. You know, she's creating a universe, and she's celebrating in that, though, because there's a lust for life, because she can create this stuff. You know, even looking at this Lust card here, the Leo signature almost looks like the North Node symbol. And that's going into uncharted territories, and that's what's happening. I feel the soul tribe has been purified, and now it's time to manifest. This is Empress energy. What are we building in this field here? I'm with it. I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. I love that. And if you like that too, Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Cancer, if you know someone who's been maybe having troubles with this process. Because I was thinking about that yesterday with the energies and how it was like almost a little aggressive talking about the change that's coming in. How sometimes that can feel aggressive and that it can feel like it's a lot, and this is a time I feel like we would benefit from talking out about our experiences. It doesn't necessarily have to be just like, and I'm not saying we're just necessarily throwing a pity party. I do feel like it's acknowledging what is happening, giving this a space to breathe so that you can process it and see where we can go from there, see what we're working with, what we can, how we can take the situation and manifest from it. I'm thinking about how like all my experiences, sometimes when I go to talk with people about what I've been through, what I've done, they're just like, wait, you? And it's just like, life happens. Life has, sometimes you're in YOLO phase. You got a Four Loco, and it's Tuesday. You don't know what you're doing, and then next thing you know, you're in a double moment, and you're learning a lesson, and you're growing, and it can be tough, but it's not impossible, because I look back and it went exactly how I needed to. I learned all the things I needed, experienced all the things that I needed to, so that I could speak about it in a way that can maybe help somebody else, so. And that's a nice thing about Gemini, too. It's about exchanging, talking about, I feel where Gemini energy is light, that doesn't mean that Gemini lacks depth. If we're just talking about superficial things, of course, Gemini's going to move on. Because what are we talking about? But if we're talking about, like, feelings, and sometimes, I will say, I won't speak for all suns. I've observed that. But change is exciting. Growth can be exciting. It can be frustrating, but it can also be exciting. And it's all part of this process, And I feel like we're going through this purification right now where it's looking at this journey through a different lens. Life is not coming at you, it's coming for you. And that even sounds a little aggressive. It's coming, it's wanting to work with you. Don't run from it, Cancer. Mercury retrograde. That was supposed to be profound. Hit that bell button there, Cancer. You love her. Hit that bell button. You get notified of these videos each day. And Cancer, last little things. Despite the word salad, I do love talking about astrology. I could talk about it very intelligently if that's something that you're into. Because believe me, Cancer, the perks of having working with me is that I'm always going to be looking at your chart. Always. And because I always see something different. It's always fascinating because it's like when you look at a chart, it's just like, for me, it's a work of art. It's just like, man, look at this energy. Look at what you can do with all this stuff. What are you doing with all this stuff? Oh, I didn't think of that. That's cool what you're doing with all this stuff. How about you throw this spin on it? Now we're collaborating. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I was keeping... but if you want to do all that stuff there, Cancer, all that stuff's down in the description box, along with everything else. Oh, and come over to my other channel, Cancer Alchemist 8, where I do, because now we've talked about your sun, moon, and rising. You know where your degree points are. We can talk about when Mercury is trining Venus. We can talk about where your eclipse is at on your chart. And because on this other channel, I talk about all that. The astrological weather, I talk about exact aspects, the days that they're happening on. And it's a great old time there, Cancer. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your prize cards here. Ooh, so I can get you out of here, Cancer. Man, you got a lot of fixed energy too, Cancer. Got a little bit of all the stuff here. A little cardinal, a little fixed, a little mutable. Cancer, you got the star card here. And this is a card of hope. There are... And I like how you got a lot of a lot of opposing energy too with Sag and Gemini, they're opposite signs. Aquarius here, the star card, Leo, the lust card, they're opposite signs. Capricorn's our opposite sign, depending on where your Capricorn place or your Cancer placements are at. And I feel that it is keeping the hope that even though I feel there is this new way of, I feel like of operating, and that is happening collectively, because Aquarius is how, I feel like this is how we're showing up is differently, or it's the universe is inviting us to show up differently for each other, you know, and coming with this sense of, because Aquarius is diverse, you know, Aquarius is, it respects the different views, because without it, the puzzle wouldn't be complete, you know, it wouldn't be the collective mind. And so this is getting that hope, I feel, stirred up, and not just yourself, but then how do we pass that along to others? That this is just a phase that we're going through right now, I feel, collectively, where there is this metamorphosis that is happening. We're feeling that pressure, but I do feel that something is pushing back. You know, there is that, feel it, Cancer, and I feel that it's something where, and don't let me force that on you. Keep that in mind, you can't let anyone force anything on you. But it is, I feel, an invitation for collective potential. You know, I feel there's this thing where they'll say, like, Aquarius, you know, loves humanity but hates people. I don't think that's true. I think that Aquarius does love people. I think they love people more than they would want to admit. Thank you, higher self. I think that Aquarius may not care for how we treat each other and how we operate, you know, if things don't make sense. And that's not to say that Aquarius is perfect, not at all. But I'm just talking about the Aquarius frequency. When we're thinking collectively, we can all show up better. All of us. You know, this is not, you know, I look, you know, Cancer, you know, I'm looking for guidance in the heavens just like you are, and wherever you look for that. And so, I love this, Cancer. We're just talking about with the Six of Cups, too. You got the elephant spirit here, Cancer. I was literally just thinking about, I think I'm going to put that on my board. I'm manifesting I'm going to Africa here soon, Cancer. It's manifesting. I was just thinking about elephants. I think I'm going to put that on my vision board. But you got elephant spirit here, Cancer, which is learned from the past. And, you know, Cancer, fun little fact. Look this up, you know, don't just take my word for it. But I remember reading somewhere that the reasons that they say elephants never forget, there's this herb, gotu-kola, which Mercury rules over. Look, we're just exchanging information. I love this use of energy, Cancer. But there's this herb, and this is not medical advice, Cancer, but there's this herb, gotu-kola, ruled by Mercury, associated with Mercury, that helps the memory and is great for the mind. And they say, I remember reading that elephants have this in abundance. They just eat it all the time. And so, of course, hence, elephants never forget. And I feel when we're talking about with in terms with past things that have happened, because it's one thing to stay stagnant in the past and stay stuck. But it's a whole other thing to learn from it, to let that be an experience where, yeah, I may not have showed up in my best vibration at this time or at this particular situation, but that doesn't have to define me going forward. I don't have to continue to manifest this. I can manifest whatever I want. I can change when I feel like it, when I'm ready for it. You know, and I feel like this is something too, again, we can't force that on others. This purification process is, and it's not like this is like, hop on the train whenever you're ready, but I feel like everyone's eventually going to need to hop on the train and learn from, this is a collective journey. You know, we're all in this together. And so I feel like this is something we learn from the past, Cancer. You know, astrology is great for, and not just astrology, history. is a great example for what we can learn from. You can learn from a number of things, from the stories that have been told. Oh, that wasn't a great period. Maybe we gotta, what can I do to not repeat that? I don't want that to happen again. Because it's like, well, I was just talking with someone about this. It's like, we'll say we're so modern, but still do, these sort of like medieval practices. And it's just like, there's still things, it's just modern, and that's bizarre. And and that's an opinion. But I do feel that we do benefit from learning from the past. The past can be a great teacher. It doesn't have to be some place. It can be a place of nostalgia, a place of great times, a time where, Six of Cups, a card of pleasure. And it can be a time where, we were talking about pleasures and things, but it's more so, I feel like, a remembrance that you can create more of that. That the good times didn't, like, that's not it. Like, it's not like, oh, like, I guess I've run out of fun times. Like, it's just going to be crap from, no. Yeah, there's going to be challenges, but there's going to be reward. It waxes and wanes. But we got to, sometimes I feel like we forget that. But now we're remembering again. I feel like this is a purification here, Cancer. You feel the vibration. I heard somewhere too where elephants will stomp on the ground. They're communicating through these sound waves here, Cancer. But I think as I'm done throwing stuff at you, you can take this stuff to Jeopardy, Cancer. But stay mindful out there, Cancer. Keep your awareness about you. Feel the moon, Cancer. Connect with the moon. Know where she's. Feel where she's at. My journal every day I start off journaling, and I'll have the date, and then I'll write just where the moon's at. And then, granted, I'm trying to make it a point to make my handwriting more legible. That's not happening yet, but map these times. See where you're at during these energies. Where is this particularly chatty during this last Gemini moon? Maybe you were a hermit the previous one. What was the contrast? What was going on then? And see how things can be so different. It's keeps us curious, Cancer. And it's curious. And I will catch you, Cancer, to ask more questions. Seek more answers on the next one. Oh, no, that's on Moon Day, Cancer. Tomorrow, Venus Day.